Hey guys, welcome back to Caden's Corner. We've reached the finals in what's been one of the most memorable playoffs in NBA history. An 8 seed in the finals, a Curry-LeBron matchup, and 2 play-in teams in their conference finals. In the East and throughout the NBA, the consensus top teams were the Celtics and the Bucks. After the Heat knocked off the Bucks, I thought it was apparent that the Celtics would cruise to the finals. And I was wrong. As I previously predicted before the playoffs, I thought the Suns and Celtics would be playing for the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
The Suns' lack of depth proved to be their kryptonite, and the Celtics struggled with inconsistency, costing them a trip back to the finals. Their inconsistency was rooted within their superstar All-NBA duo in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Another season of falling up short brings up the yearly question on whether this duo should be broken up. This seems to be the most serious as big-time money is on the table.
As the Celtics sit with this brutal loss, there are major things that this team needs to address this offseason. The most prominent one is if Jaylen Brown should be offered a supermax contract. Brown, after making the All-NBA second team this season, is eligible for a 5-year, $295 million contract. This extension at the end of the regular season, where Brown averaged a career high in points per game and field goal percentage, would have been a no-brainer. But after an awful series in the Eastern Conference Finals, this decision becomes a lot harder. Not to mention the taste he'll leave in everyone's mouth when he was forced to be the number 1 option after Tatum's injury in Game 7. In that game, he turned the ball over 8 times and shot 35% from the floor. Questions were also raised about the job security of head coach Joe Mazzulla after this team fell down 3-2 to the 76ers before an eventual comeback. These questions quickly came back a week later after the Celtics found themselves in a 3-0 deficit on the brink of being swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. Brad Stevens, the president of basketball operations, said after the Game 7 loss that Mazzulla is their guy and that he's not going anywhere. With the amount of coaching talent on the market and a disappointing season, it can still be questioned if he is the right guy for this team moving forward. This team schematically played very different under Udoka than they did Mazzulla. Last season with Udoka, this team prided itself on the defensive end and switching everything 1 through 5. This year with Mazzulla was the complete opposite. They lived or died from the 3-point line. Malcolm Brogdon said in an interview that he felt this team lacked a defensive identity. I do believe that Joe Mazzulla is the right coach for the Celtics, and it was shown in the way they came back in that Heat series. The Celtics could have easily given up on their coach and packed their bags for Cancun right after the Game 3 loss, but they fought to the end and forced a Game 7. I think that shows the respect they have for their coach.
So where do the Celtics go from here? Is it time to move on from Jaylen Brown, or should they pay him the supermax? The Boston Celtics would make a major mistake not re-signing Jaylen Brown and breaking up this duo. First of all, Jaylen Brown is a 26-year-old wing that is an elite scorer and defender. If the Celtics were to trade him, there's no equal value around the league to an elite young wing. I firmly believe we haven't seen the best of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum.
Less than a year ago in the finals, JB was the most consistent player on the Celtics, and everyone called him better than Tatum.
After one series, everyone is ready to write him off. Not so fast. Jaylen Brown has the upside of being a top 10 player in the league, and I believe that he's currently the best shooting guard in the NBA. Yes, better than Devin Booker. You can take recency bias out of this.
Jayson Tatum is 25 and Jaylen Brown is 26, and together they've reached 4 conference finals and they have 1 finals appearance. LeBron didn't win his first ring until 27, and Jordan didn't win his first until 28. The window for superstars to enter their primes and win rings is between 27 and 33. I completely understand that paying Brown would leave no room to dish out other money on role players. His supermax would make him the highest paid player in the league. Tatum is eligible for a 5-year, $318 million contract next summer. The reality is, and JJ Redick made a great point on this, the way the NBA is going, you have to pay top dollar for these superstars. The Celtics won't get anything of equal value if they traded Brown. Brad Stevens has been amazing as the president of this team. He won't let Jaylen Brown walk out the door, and he'll sign him to a supermax. Now, this doesn't take away from the Celtics' struggles and how this team can get back to the finals. Throughout the postseason, this team was so inconsistent. The version that played connected defense and shot the ball well was unbeatable, but the team that settled for threes and played horrible defense didn't look like a true contender. The Celtics went an unnecessary 6 games with the Hawks, fell in a 3-2 hole to the 76ers, and then went down 3 out of the Heat and couldn't recover. This team played best when their backs were against the wall. Too many times throughout the regular season and postseason, the Celtics lacked lacked a closer that could help them finish games with late leads. 2 choked 10-point fourth quarter leads in games 1 and 2 against the Heat, and another choked double-digit lead in game 6 where Derek White had the improbable game winner.
The Celtics are very fortunate that the Heat lost their first play-in game, forcing them to play the Bucks. The same outcome would have happened in the first round, and this time, Mazzulla would have been fired, and there would be no question whether Jaylen Brown would be on this team next year. Credit to the Miami Heat for this great series. Erik Spoelstra is one of the best coaches of all time, and I truly believe that the Miami Heat are a team of destiny. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.